Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. And a happy
Hello.
one more time. This is our first webinar this year. I'm excited that you've chosen to join us and get some things right with your finances early in the year. So, welcome again. This is Blue Star Family's Money Mondays webinars, a program dedicated to conversations about finances in the military. I am your host, Lydia Whitty. I'm the JP Morgan Chase Financial Wellness Deploy Fellow with Blue Star Family's Campaign for Inclusion initiative. This initiative is aimed at increasing diversity in leadership within the military and veteran serving organizations. A little about me: I'm an Army veteran spouse and an ardent advocate for foreign born military spouses and their families. Today, we are going to be discussing entrepreneurship. I'm inviting you to join us and learn how to be your own boss, right? The last webinar in 2022 was on spouse unemployment, and I'm very glad that today we want to talk about something that could be part of a solution to that problem, which is entrepreneurship. We're here to learn how to do it and also share information about organizations with great resources to help you set up and grow your own business. I am joined by amazing panelists that are doing a lot of work to tackle this issue, and I cannot wait to have them tell you all about their mission. So, without further ado, I am happy to introduce to you Jamie Chapman.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I won't talk long. I am the founder and the chief operating officer of the Military Spouse Chamber of Commerce. We have 1,200 military spouse business owners as our membership, and I will be talking later today about the things that we do and the services that we offer to help serve those businesses as they move along their journey.
Thank you, Jamie. Jamie is, as she says, the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Military Spouse Chamber of Commerce. She's also a Senior Military Talent Program Manager with Amazon Web Services. Secondly, I'm going to introduce Melissa Bird. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Melissa is a project manager with the Entrepreneurship and Small Business Portfolio with the Danielle Institute for Veteran and Military Families, commonly referred to as IVMF. She supports communications and special projects for the organization, including as entrepreneurship and in events. Her background spans 15 years of experience working with cross functional teams for iconic global brands, including ESPN, the National Weather Center, the New York Mets, Walt Disney, and other major league and minor league sports organizations. A military spouse and certified project manager, Melissa also owns MB2 Communications, a communication centric business focusing on project and special events management. Melissa has a diverse academic background with a degree in journalism and PR, an MBA in sports management. She also serves as an adjunct instructor at the University of Oklahoma and guest lecturer at St. John's University. We are very happy to have you with us. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you.
Last but certainly not least, we have AC Bryan III. AC is an Army veteran who served for 23 years. Thank you so much, AC, for your service. He is married with 5 children. AC is from Sugarland, Texas, and a graduate of the University of Maryland. He is an entrepreneur and owner of 3 businesses, namely Bryan Boxing Apparel, Imperial Boxing Academy, and Cuts with Class Barbershop. AC uses the sport of boxing to positively influence local and international communities. With his gym, he provides programs that help build confidence through learning the sport of boxing. And with his boxing gear company, he helps build and fund boxing programs in developing countries across the world. With every 3 gloves sold, for example, Bryan Boxing provides a free pair of gloves to fighters that otherwise couldn't afford a new pair. Thank you so much, AC, for joining us. And we are very happy to have all of you watching as well. Now, we will begin by having a conversation, and throughout the conversation, we'd like for all our panelists to chime in, chip in whenever you feel like you have something to say on a certain question or a discussion that is going on. So, I will begin with you, Jamie. Please talk to us a little bit about yourself, how the Military Chamber of Commerce came to be, and what its mission is.
The Military Spouse Chamber of Commerce, we've had a bunch of us military spouses working together on a task force focused on entrepreneurship. This was headed up by Maria McConville, who's the Chief of Staff of the Army's wife. And so she brought a lot of different entrepreneurship experts from within the military community together to tackle a few specific problems that Army spouses facing, building businesses both on and off the base. And this is where I kind of collided with my co-founder, Stephanie Brown, and our board chair, Beth Conlon. And, Stephanie talked to Beth and I and was like, hey, we should do a Chamber of Commerce for military spouses. And Beth said, I thought there was one. Why would we do that? And it turns out there wasn't. So we ended up just going full speed ahead and founding one. And we do lots and lots of different things. But what I will say is that our number one service offering that I'll focus on is the certification for military spouse-owned enterprises. And so if you think of how, you as a business owner can go and get certified as a woman or as a minority or as a veteran or as a disabled or LGBTQ-owned business, we created the first and only existing certification for military spouse-owned businesses. And we are working slowly but surely to garner national recognitions of military spouses in both federal government and in the private sector, so that you're able to better compete for business opportunities.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jamie. That's an amazing thing. The first Chamber of Commerce, it's amazing that it's easy to not think, oh, it already exists, and it surely doesn't. So thank you for coming up with it and for supporting businesses. Melissa, this is your question. Talk to us about the entrepreneurship and small business programs at the Daniela Institute for Veterans and Military Families. We'd love to know what's available and how our audience can benefit.
Sure, absolutely. So many people are familiar with the IVMF. One of our amazing platforms that we have is to support the veteran community in multiple areas. So we certainly talk about employment. We have our research and data team who has a great partnership and relationship with Blue Star Families on the annual family lifestyle survey. And we also have a community search program, but entrepreneurship is really my bread and butter. And we have a program or an event to suit you no matter where you're at in your entrepreneurship journey. Maybe you're just thinking about starting a business. Maybe you have that great idea that's written on a napkin that someday is going to be, this multi-million-dollar business. You're just not sure how to get it started. Or we also have a great program for businesses that are already on the Inc. 5000 list and in a growth and scaling stage. One of 11 programs will suit your needs wherever you're at in your business entrepreneurship journey. So we have programs ranging from a women-only program called VWise, Veteran Women Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship. We're actually celebrating our 25th program for VWise coming up this April, which is very exciting. We'll be in San Antonio, Texas, and it's open to all women, veterans, military spouses, and partners. So anyone can apply to join, and you can find out more about it on our website. We also have a program called Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans for Families, so EBV F. And that families is very important because that offers the same great EBV programming, but specifically for spouses, partners, caregivers. And we're also expanding into first generation dependents as well. So we have seen there's certainly an evolution in where our veterans are at in their lives, where their children are now at, especially, even post 9/11 veterans, they've got adult children now. It seems like it was just yesterday that we were, still in the middle of a lot of that post 9/11 campaign. And we are really thrilled to be able to support the children of these military veterans through some of our programs. So either way, head to ivmf.syracuse.edu for more information on one of our programs. Most programs are low to no cost. And that's really a huge benefit. So you might have to pay to get yourself to a particular location. You might already be in that location, but to work through the program and to become a graduate of the IVF program should not take much money out of your pocket. You've already done enough to help support our country. This is what our partners and funders have worked together to do to help support you in a post-service business goal.
Thank you so much, Melissa. A lot of great things that are offered within IVMF. So please head on there. I've just put the website that Melissa talked about on the chat. So click on it once this is done and get going if you're interested in the entrepreneurship journey. Over to you, AC. First of all, I want to say again, thank you for your service to this great nation. Secondly, excuse me, I'd like to know how you do it. Running 3 businesses, man. Please tell us more about yourself and how you became an entrepreneur and what it is exactly that you do.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on this prestigious panel with all these amazing panelists. This is great. Wow, I'm blown away. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to chime in on some of those programs that both of you were talking about. And I was like, oh, wow, those are good to know. Being in the military for 23 years, I'm sure the spouses and anybody who's ever been in the military understands that you have to have multiple hats. And so and if you think about what we're doing in the military all the time, you have to run multiple things. You can be a first sergeant. Then on top of that, you could be in charge of 3 other different programs at the same time, and all of them have to be able to run and function at the highest level, like you have a whole staff. And so I've just been able to multitask a lot. With running the 3 businesses, it really seems like it's normal for me. I remember I was getting ready to retire and everybody kept saying like, what are you going to do for work? And I was like, I'm not going to go work. I'm not going to go work for somebody else. And so got out, I had started Bryant Boxing right before, maybe like 4 years before I was deciding to get out the military. And the other 2 businesses came based off of great timing, and I had planned to have them a few years prior to that. One of the best things I think I could do to run all 3 is put very good people in place to help run it. Because if I had to be at all 3 places at any given time all day, I wouldn't be able to run it. But just having good supporting people that are like-minded and taking my time, making sure I do it right. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. It did to an extent. I talked about them before, but I didn't definitely go deep into what they were. So tell us like what the businesses are.
Okay, well, first is Bryant Boxing. It's a boxing apparel company that started based off of me paying homage to my grandparents with our last name and me loving to be a philanthropist. So it started in Hawaii, and we ended up being the largest Black-owned boxing apparel company in the world. We use Bryant Boxing not only to help fund boxing events and training in I think it's South Sudan, Nigeria, and I think there's a few other. I think it's in Tanzania. There's some. We helped out some people over there. So that's my big baby. I love that, and hopefully we grow to be one of the biggest boxing apparel companies, hands down. The Cuts with Class barbershop. I went in. It's something I've been planning out for about 9 years. It was a partner of mine, he's my partner. He was my barber and very good friend, and we were talking for about 9 years. And finally, we opened it up during the pandemic because it was like perfect timing for us. All of a sudden, he had a lot of free time on his hands, and so we were able to go scout out locations and attack it that way. And it's been growing. It's very successful based off of 1 year already. So it's already paying for itself, and we're starting to get revenue. And everybody in the work environment, it feels like family. And the gym is just basically, I had been volunteering for years and years and years. And when I started to get out the military, I know I had to justify taking time away from my family. And the only way I could justify it was with monetary gains. And so just lucky enough to be able to find a gym that's literally right down the street from my house and from my barbershop. and it was just like perfect time. And so Imperial Boxing Academy basically is a gym that you go, and if you go there to learn how to fight, regardless if it's for defense or for fitness, the main goal is to learn how to fight. And it's a lot of one-on-one time. I don't like too many groups. I feel that like in this specific sport, you need a lot of one-on-one time, especially if you're coming up to make sure things are right. And so at the gym, I'm able to do that because it's the way I run it. So these are all passions. And to me, if people ask me, do I have a job? I love putting on, anything. Nope, I'm retired. But reality is I'm probably if you ask my wife, you ask my kids, I'm way busier now. So this morning I had a training session with 3 of my fighters. I ran in, I came and did this. Right before this, I was in a conference call with this new coaching gig I just had. I just filled some orders right before earlier this morning before I went to. So it's always like I'm constantly going, but it makes me feel like I'm in the military, minus UCMJ and getting written up. So yeah.
Thank you so much, AC. Very nice to know that you're a veteran and you're doing it.
Yes, ma'am.
That sends a message to our military community. You can do it as well. If you're joining us now, we're talking about entrepreneurship. Please share your comments in the chat. We'll be able to answer them, or our awesome panelists will love to answer any questions that you have. Also, let us know just any comments. You can also put them in the chat. This brings us to what I'd say is the most important reason why we're here today. Where do you start from, and what do you do? What do you need to know to start a business and to grow one and be successful? The statistics around business sometimes are very disheartening, that sometimes more than half of them fail within the first 5 years. And I would not like for any of your businesses to be one of those. So we are here to help you how to start and how to maintain and grow as well. So Jamie, this is for you. As someone who's actively involved in entrepreneurship yourself, studying the Chamber of Commerce was part of, entrepreneurship. Share with us what you see as tips on how to be successful at running a business, and what would be the first steps in that journey?
Well, that's a loaded question. And there's so many things I would advise a new business to do when they're getting started. But to limit my answer to one response, I would say don't go it alone, and get somebody that can be your mentor, or a lot of somebodies that can be your mentor. We just heard about wearing all the hats and doing all the things. And, I was in the military myself, and I wore all the hats and I did all the things. Now I'm a military spouse and I wear all the hats and I do all the things. But when I started a business, I had no idea what I was doing. And I had all that practice wearing all the hats and doing all the things. So I would just say get a mentor. A good friend of mine, his name is Greg Cheek. He served in the Army as well, and he's a professional public speaker now. But Greg wrote a book called 3 Points of Contact. And in his book, he talks about his journey, surviving throat cancer and overcoming that. And the 3 points of contact have to do with basically being enthusiastic and optimistic. But in the book, there's this tiny little nugget about mentorship that I have just clung to since I read it. And it's what he calls the 33% rule, which is, surround yourself with people who can mentor you and then give back. 33% of those people should be people superior to you, or people who are ahead of you in whatever venture you're doing, so you can learn from their direct experience. 33% should be in your peer group, people who are at about the same place as you are professionally. And then the other 33%, you turn around and you give back to people who are coming behind you. And you'll learn just as much from each of the 3 peer groups as you go along your mentorship journey. But whatever you do, don't do it by yourself.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much. I am learning myself, and I want to put that in practice. I'm going to use 33, 33, 33. In fact, after this, Jamie, please send me a link to the book or something. I want to read it and I want to apply it. Thank you so much. Melissa, you've also been doing this for a while now. as part of employment, but as part of what you do yourself. You're an entrepreneur. Share with us some advice and resources for our audience that you may have.
Sure, absolutely. I think Jamie really hit the nail on the head. First and foremost, find a network, find a mentor. There are many people that have done this before you. There are many people that have failed before you. There are many people that have seen successes as well. They have been military spouses. They have been veterans. They've been in your shoes. It might feel very lonely, but my biggest piece of advice I can give to someone is to find a network because it exists. It's there. There are groups like the Military Spouse Chamber and the IVMF who want to help, but we have to know that you're there and that you're looking for the help as well. So it's a combination of, we do as much outreach as we certainly can, and you also reaching back out to let people know that you're looking for some support. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's one of those, famous things that everyone's heard multiple times, but especially when it comes to business ownership, acknowledging that you don't know everything that there is to know about business and being willing to be coachable is critical to your success as an entrepreneur. At the IVMF, with all of our programs that we have, we try to help walk you through the steps for where you're at right then. So here's what you need to know when you have an idea. Here's the next steps that you should take. Here's some information on marketing, on sales, on branding, on accounting and back office, because not everyone's going to be great at all of those things. So it's really learning about what your strengths and weaknesses are and being open to acknowledging that you're not great at everything and that you could use some help. And that's where that network and resource comes in. At the IVMF, another great tool that we recently developed, it's an online digital library. It's a fantastic resource for small businesses. We'll have, I think there's more than 24,000 pieces of information associated with this free online digital library that you can find through the IVMF website. And you can utilize that to help figure out what you need in your particular state, information you might need in your particular industry. And it's also an opportunity to tap into various groups that have associations that you might be looking for to grow and start your business. So some of these advices and tips is just to know that you're not alone. Like we talk frequently in the military spouse community, the military families, and the veteran community, that you have your business battle buddies. You just might not know that they're there, but they are existing and they're willing and eager to help you in your business journey, because we're trying to help each other out and be successful in our post-service lives.
Thank you, Melissa. I think the running theme here is support, support, support. Surround yourself with people who've done it before you, are doing it, and the ones coming behind. Don't go at it alone. Thank you, ladies. Essie, this is for you. What are some of the challenges you have faced in your entrepreneurship journey, and what did you do to overcome them? Also, if you have any resources you have benefited from, and you might want to share with our audience.
Okay, then some of the hurdles I had to face was start having the courage to be out there and actually do it on your own. That's one. You can't wait for one of the most perfect times to do anything. Like I said, I started two of my businesses during the pandemic. It's probably one of the weirdest times where people, I wouldn't assume people would be, and matter of fact, their services, it's like in person, barbershops, gyms. So it's like one of the industries that was getting shut down and not seeing a lot of growth was those two industries. But you got to have a plan. So you have to be flexible. Being able to write something down is the start. And then from that point, when you start putting it in motion, you got to be able to be flexible. Everything can't be to the last dime and nickel. You got to have some flexibility. You have to have capital. If you're not starting out, maybe I didn't do it the right way, and I'm really open to learn. I'm just listening to all these individuals say a lot of things that I had to go through and learn myself, like learn networking, getting into chambers of commerce, and just getting your stuff out there. But one of the things that I did understand was like I had to have finances. And so when you make your business plan, when you come up with your finances, don't immediately think that just because you have a great product that people are automatically going to want to come flock to you, even though it's better than everybody else's. My business partner, I remind him all the time that Nikola Tesla died penniless, but yet the inventions that he made help shape today's society. You know, AC current, electricity is because of him, radio waves, and all those other things. So even though we may have a great idea, we have to do the business aspect as we go out and talk to colleges. We help promote ourselves as much as possible. You don't wait on somebody to write a review or whatever it is. We're on top of everything. We try to burn the candle on both ends. What else is there? Having your money is probably one of the most important. And on top of that, having your LLC is way more important than having money. So making sure all your things are in place that you may not even use today. You're going to use maybe them in 2 years or 3 years, but you should go ahead and start that clock now by, you know, getting your LLC and getting your finances ready. That's about all I can think of. Yeah.
Thank you, AC. There's a lot. I know definitely there's so much for us to share, and we might not have the time to share all of those. But for anyone watching, if you check in the chat, I am putting so much resources down there. If you click on any of those or all of those, I might recommend, you will find tons and tons of things to do. And excuse me, where
I do.
to
You know what? There's one thing I wanted to add.
Mhm.
When you're starting to be an entrepreneur, you have to be able to think outside the box. But one of the best skills I've ever had was knowing when not to think outside the box. Don't reinvent the wheel. There's certain things you just have to do. You can't be like, you know what, how am I circumvent that? You know, use all that energy to be creative when it's necessary. But other than that, there are certain things that are in place you just have to do. So even though you're great and you can think outside the box, being able to know, like, I should probably just do what everybody else is doing so I can get to the next level is super, super important. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Essie. Thank you so much for bringing that in. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Let's talk about you, Jamie. From your vast personal and professional experience, what more do you think should be done to support entrepreneurship within this community? We know we have resources, but sometimes say, I wish there was this, I wish there was that. If you have come across any of that in your journey personally, or you have seen the people you support with the chamber, please share those with us.
Two things here. You know, what more can be done to support the military community? Until my dying breath, I will tell people to shop military. The military community is so supportive of each other. We also have a tendency to pinch pennies, and we know there's a lot of free and available resources out there for us. And I would like to see more people like shopping on spousely.com for military spouse-owned products, and when they're going to hire for website design and stuff like that, things that you need a service for, if you would be intentional and shop for a military-owned business, you would make a big difference in the lives of a military family. And then the other thing, like one more thing that could be done to improve the climate for military businesses and entrepreneurs would be policy. I know that's kind of a boring topic, but just this past year in the NDAA, there have been a couple of provisions that were put in there to support, you know, military spouse employment. And there was even one that we wanted to try to slide in there to support, you know, reimbursing military spouse-owned businesses for their PCS-related business expenses, like when you move from Germany to Colorado to Texas and you have to re-register your business somewhere else every time, it starts to get costly. And just things like that. Policy is a little bit boring, but if those things are in place, it sure does relieve a lot of headaches before they happen for a military family.
Thank you, Jamie. Melissa, please share with us gaps you have identified and any recommendations you've had from your experience, both personally and professionally.
Sure, absolutely. I'm going to kind of just jump on a little bit more of what AC was mentioning earlier, in that your journey as a business owner and an entrepreneur is unique to you. but that doesn't mean that someone else hasn't walked a similar path to you. And that doesn't mean that they don't have lessons learned that they're more willing to share with you, because we've all failed in business in some way or another. It doesn't mean that your business closes necessarily, but there's definitely mistakes that you'll make that you know not to do for next time. And that is part of the value of a veteran and a military spouse or a family member being an entrepreneur, is we tend to come to the table with more of these soft skills that are necessary to be a successful entrepreneur. We know from research that veterans over-index compared to our civilian peers in entrepreneurship. There are more veteran-owned businesses out there than are reflective of the population. So what you need to do is focus on those soft skills that you have. And I think that can help to bridge a lot of the gaps. You are resilient. So you might fail in something with your business. That doesn't mean your business is over and then your entrepreneurship dreams are done. You just have to shift, semper gumby, and make it work. Try to find a way to do it better next time. To recognize that although your journey is unique, to AC's point, someone's probably done something similar to you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to be the only person that's doing X, Y, or Z. Just do it better than the other person. Find a way to iterate it and make it better than it was before. Find a way to partner with an organization that can help build your business. So maybe your first entry in is by working for someone else at first until you're able to stand on your own 2 feet. There's nothing wrong with trying to work with another business. It doesn't mean that you're not an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that your own business won't be successful. It means that you know how to network and you know how to build a community around you to support your long-term business goals. I think for me, I personally am we're slowly wrapping up 2 years of geobashing in our house. So it's me and the kiddos while my husband is off at some training, and trying to build a business, trying to work, trying to manage children during COVID and all this fun stuff. It's a challenge, but we've all made it through. Doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean we've done it well. We've all made it through. It's similar with your business. Every day is not necessarily a success, but every day is also not a failure. So take a look at the things that you've done well and what you've learned from it. That's going to help you along your journey and keep putting one foot in front of the other. That's where a lot of these great IVF programs come into play, is that we can help you at this stage. We can help you at the next stage, and then moving on and be along the journey with you as your needs change.
Thank you, Melissa. As you can notice now, I have bombarded the chat with resources. Everything is right there. We have 2 Lauras commenting in the chat, one saying they're here to learn about entrepreneurship. Yes, Laura, and I hope you continue to, and you might just be inspired to take the step and to start your own. The other Laura is also talking about joining one of our communities at Blue Star Families, where you can also share and contribute with your best vetted resources for all military families. So all those links are provided in there, and I hope you really take advantage of them. Laura is saying something in Spanish. I don't know anybody here who can read Spanish. The only thing I can read is hola, and then the rest of them is spouse force for small business owners. Yes, Laura, sorry I couldn't understand the other Spanish words. Google Translate, here I come. AC, I'd also like to hear what support you need as a veteran entrepreneur. Has there been any part of your journey you'd be like, I wish something like this was available, or I wish this and that and that? Is there anything of that you'd like to share with us?
Oh yeah, the first speaker, when she said, please do your due diligence to search for military products, that's one for sure. Because you're hoping to be like all your brothers and sisters at arms. You're like, hey, just to let you know, I sell candles too. And they gotta search out for you. What else is it? What else of the resource is stuff like this is amazing. And it's I'm a little bit old in the military. There used to be this thing called AKO, and if anybody remember what AKO was, when it first started out, nobody knew what it was, but there would be like this one AKO guru who would be like, oh, you can get a college degree on there. We're like, what? You can? And it'd be like, click here, click here, click here. And then you'd find some other secret, path about finding out how to speak different languages and getting all these skills. You're like, whoa, what is all of this? So one, understanding that everybody doesn't know where to look, so make yourself available. Resources as far as getting on post or being, it would be great to have maybe like a chat or something like that with post command with military entrepreneurs. That way there's like they can sit down and they can talk about things that they bring to the that they bring to possibly to the military community, products that they offer, because odds are right now is that commanders don't really understand what's going on. They understand beans and bullets and soldiers, or military personnel. And so maybe there would be an additional resource would be like, hey, let's put a summit together, and I hate taking time away from people, but maybe they could add it on to something else when they do an outreach program. Hey, here's an opportunity for all entrepreneurs to come on post, all veterans, all military spouse entrepreneurs to come on post, talk to the command, talk about what they provide, products they provide. That way, at least they know it's out there. And continue and do things like this. This is amazing. So, yeah.
Thank you, Essie. I'm getting some of the resources from our panelists as well, and I'm sharing them. There's Shop Military Family Owned, which is a spousely.com. It's right there for you in the chat. And there's an Amazon Military Storefront over right there in the chat. So don't just talk about supporting military and veteran-owned business. Actually do it. Walk the talk, okay? We are not about, oh yeah, I support military, thank you for your service. No, how you thank them is going on, finding what Essie is doing and supporting Essie and Melissa and supporting Jamie in everything that they're doing so that they are successful as well. We've come to the end of our programming, but before that, I'd like to ask if my amazing panelists, Jamie, Melissa, Essie, any last thoughts or reflections for our audience?
This is Jamie. I'd just love to mention really quickly, I've interviewed hundreds of military spouse-owned businesses one-on-one, and I always talk about the challenges that they face. And the top 3 challenges, to sum it up beautifully, like my co-founder Stephanie Brown had said, is it almost always falls into one of these 3 buckets: money, mentorship, and marketing. You can find resources for all of those at IVMF, at the Military Spouse Chamber, at Bunker Labs. There is a number of places that are for free, that don't cost you anything to go to within the military community to get support on the things that people struggle with. So I just wanted to bring that up, and just know that coming in, if you're interested in starting a business, know money, mentorship, and marketing, that's almost always what people end up struggling with. And when I interview them later down the road, that's what they talk about.
Absolutely. I support exactly what Jamie's saying. So even in our growth stage programming, we have the upcoming Veteran Edge Conference in Dallas at the end of March, and that is specifically for growth stage businesses. And access to capital is still an issue. It's always a challenge no matter where you're at in any part of your business, and knowing the different resources that are out there, because there's a lot of opportunity to get capital no matter where you're at in your business journey. And so I think it's really important to continue to recognize that just because your business has launched and has seen some success doesn't mean that you're in the clear. Continue to be coachable, continue to want to learn, and to want to keep pushing forward. I think that resilience that we're looking for in our business and in ourselves is really important to be a successful entrepreneur, to just keep trying and keep making the effort. And those fantastic resources that Jamie mentioned that we've talked about throughout this conversation are always going to be there for you. No matter where you're at, no matter whether or not you tried, you needed to take a break for a little bit, regroup, rethink, pivot, to use the incredible buzzword from the last few years, to make those adjustments. We're still here for you when you're ready to come back.
Thank you, Melissa. Essie?
Only thing I like to add on there is make sure that you have a plan and prepare for failure. And I don't mean that you're going to fail, but what's going to happen is inevitably that worst day happens. Your roof falls in, whatever it is. Have a plan to not only when it does happen, how you can stand back up and continue going, and understand that just because you fail today doesn't mean that you're going to fail tomorrow. Hopefully that's a lesson learned. I believe somebody just hit on it earlier. Understand, just keep going, stay focused, and don't stop. Whatever it is, don't stop. You have to be sure that all your paperwork is in line. Meaning, you got to do that due diligence to make sure that, when you do get the financing, when you are able to finance it, that it's not under you. You got it under your company. One last thing for military people and military spouses is learn how to communicate to the civilian population, regardless of how great you talk and how good your format is, whenever it is. If it's not civilian equivalent, like if it doesn't transfer over, they're going to look at it like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't understand what you're doing. Don't do that. So understand what soft skills that you can use in the civilian world, and which ones should you kind of use for Veterans Day when you go to Chili's to get your free meal, those type of things.
Oh, thank you so much, AC. A lot of great, tips and a lot of shared knowledge with all of us here. I almost feel like I should start the next business tomorrow. Just not prepared, but I hope I can be. One last thing, Jamie did not mention about a toolkit that she developed for entrepreneurship. Jamie, that was the first thing I saw when I was researching about this topic. It's titled Military Spouse Entrepreneurship Toolkit. If you have not had a chance to read this and you want to be an entrepreneur as a spouse, not just a spouse. When I read it, it just covers anyone who wants to start. Everything you need to know. I have put it in the chat. Please click on that link, read that toolkit. It has everything from trademarks to where do I go if I want to, get health certifications, who is supporting me within the army, who is supporting me in the Air Force, who is supporting me here, am I registering a home-based business, so many things, and all the other things, and all the other resources like Rosie Network that we've been talking about. This toolkit for me is like a one-stop shop. Okay, one-stop shop. Thank you, Jamie, for all the work that went into that, and to help our spouses and our military community to be entrepreneurs and be their own bosses. We have shared a lot of information today, and I want to thank our I need to change my name, guys. Sorry, I'm not AC. Just when anyone is coming to see this. Yes, I want to thank our panelists very much. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Melissa and AC, for being passionate about what you do. And I continue to wish you success in your entrepreneurship journey as well. This has been a very important subject. I hope you can learn from what we discussed today, and you can make use of the resources that we have shared with you today. Don't forget to leave us a comment if you have something to say in the chat. And if you have any questions that you need answers to, please reach out. All right. Remember, we will continue to cover subjects like this. So don't forget to join us for our next Money Monday session. We will have it on February 13th, and we will be talking about the financial benefits in the military. We have talked about entrepreneurship and many other things. Let's talk about how can you benefit yourself and your family while you're serving or after you have served. So let's learn how to use all these things that come by virtue of your service. I don't want to miss that. I don't think you want to miss that. Thank you again. And from everyone at Blue Star Families, have a great day and Happy New Year again. Bye.
Bye-bye.